It is. It's live. Okay, you talk while I
Hi,
find
guys.
us.
We're going to identify in just a second here, but we're just waiting to make sure that we are on and that everybody can see us. Not that if you can't see us, that's not a bad thing.
Or maybe you're not even watching us, and
Are
that's
you
why
even
you can't
checking-
see us. I am. Oh, yeah, we are.
Checking the right website.
I just lost
Look, Amy Montgomery says, look, here you are.
Hi, Amy. She just waved to us. Hold on, I'm trying to find us so that you keep talking, man.
Okay, well, we're just going to look at the internet while we're live. So, I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ, finding victory over addiction to drugs and alcohol. I am currently struggling with anger, codependence, and control.
Hi, Ken.
And hi.
Hi, my name's Meaghan. I am a grateful believer. I'm in recovery for codependency, perfectionism, and compulsive behaviors.
Hi, Meaghan.
Hi.
And just so everybody knows, our children are sequestered in a room
goodness.
just right over there, and they're embroiled in a battle Mario
Epic.
Kart.
Epic Mario
So
Kart.
if you're screaming, it's not bad screaming, so don't call the police.
And just so you know, like I just went in and said, please be quiet. But they're having so much fun. You don't want to tell your kids to be quiet.
Right.
And our kids can't always be quiet too. That's very difficult. So hi,
Even if
happy
you tell them.
Sunday. Happy
It is Sunday. Yeah.
It's Sunday. We have a plan. We're going to talk about all the things. And you're like, what are all the things? This isn't going to help because this is small too. So I was going to try to read all the things on the iPad, but I can't read it. So we don't know what you're going to be asking us. All the things, there are so many things going on. Exciting things, new things. So we're going to be talking about all the things. I used to have, well, I still have an accountability partner. And I would be like, you know, when we'd get together, well, what are we going to talk about? Gloria? To go, all the things.
Tell me all
the things. Tell me all the things. So we're going to talk about all the things.
We are.
But we have kind of a plan.
We do, and we are. We just want you guys to know that we're so glad that people check in and that they leave comments, that they ask for prayer. We do take those prayers seriously. If you ask us to pray, we love to do that. In fact, I pray for people even after that. I'll put them in my phone and I will pray for you guys, because really CR is about people.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I just say something about that? Because I'll come out, and he gets up earlier than I do, and I do my quiet time in one place, and he does his quiet time in the other place. But he does he puts all the prayer requests in his phone, which is really cool. I think I've shared this before, and I'll come out, and of course I'll be like, he's not very spiritual. He's on Facebook.
I'm on my
it's
phone, yeah,
6
right?
a.m. and he should be more spiritual, but he's praying. He's praying for you guys who have put out prayer requests. He's praying for people you don't know in recovery. He's, it's praying is an expression of love, and you're really good at that.
Not so much at love, but at praying.
No.
I guess. So either way.
Not going well.
But we wanted you to know that we're really committed. We're committed to your recovery, not only to our own, but to yours as well. And especially, I know as the national team, I know that's if John Baker were here, that he would say first and foremost, he is committed to his own recovery and then to those of the people who are involved in Celebrate Recovery. So it's about people. It's about people. So we are doing open share at our
Not
church.
right now on Facebook Live. Ken and I are not going to do
Good Lord.
open share because that wouldn't be gender specific. But it's been pretty cool. Saddleback is not open as a church. It doesn't look like we are going to, as a church building. We are always open because the church is always open because the church is about those who love and follow Christ. But we've been doing open shares, both on our CRCR open shares online, which we kept going. And we also have gotten special permission to have, from our elders and our pastor, to have open shares on Friday nights. And we meet outside to help kind of negate what could happen with the virus. We're socially distant, people are wearing masks, and I had a little bit of a challenge when we were going to start meeting, because first of all, I don't like change. I don't like new things. It makes me feel uncomfortable when I have to relearn things. I happen to like to know what I'm doing and to do it well. And when I don't know what I'm doing, I have a challenge. That's one of the things that I work on in Celebrate Recovery. But Friday night was so special because it's about our third or fourth time that we've met for Open Share. And I was a little resistant to meeting outside. And it is really a special experience. The people who are coming, I know for me, we happen to have a beautiful campus. And to be able to see people gather, and what we do is we put our chairs up in groups of 8 or 10, 6 feet apart, and they're spaced out, but all the women are in one place and all the men are in another place. And some of us are available for newcomers or people who are come late, or Danny's on there and he and I are there if there's pastoral care that's needed. But to just look and see what God is doing. And we have about 30% of the people that are coming on campus have never gone to a Celebrate Recovery meeting before, ever. And we have quite a few people that when we were doing our chips, they took a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day. They've never known recovery outside of this pandemic. And I think Celebrate Recovery is in a unique and a special place as a ministry under the local church to be able to minister to people who are hurting and to proclaim freedom even as we're here in our homes and we can't go out and things like that. So it was really a special night, and God is doing a work there. And it's pretty exciting that we are doing that, and we don't know how long we'll be able to do that. We don't know what that looks like. And that's some growth that I've needed in my personal recovery, is I like it to be done. And that's how things are done.
Right.
And we're always going to do things that way.
And we don't know what the next thing looks like. We don't know what, I mean, we have planned for the next step a number of times, and the next step has been something completely different, and have had to pivot. And I'm sure that if you're a ministry leader or involved in Celebrate Recovery in your church, that you have seen the exact same thing, that it seemingly changes at the drop of a hat, but that you know that your ministry leaders and your national team are doing everything they can to normalize this as much as possible.
Yeah, no, because you're always telling me that normal's only a setting on the dryer.
It is.
So there
It's
is
just
no
a setting
normal.
on your
There's
dryer.
now. That's what we have. We're now. And we are about freedom and hope in Jesus, our one and only higher power. And we're doing what we can in this program to be of service to people. So Friday night was a beautiful night, and it was an exciting night from a national perspective. So talk about that.
Right. Hopefully most of you have had a chance to view Mac and Mary, what they said on Friday nights. They, I guess, revealed or laid out a plan for CRCR step study groups that will be online. And you as a ministry leader, I think, probably have some things to say, some concerns maybe, or
I don't know if it's maybe concerns, but I think also if you hadn't heard and you didn't know, there is a conversation that Rodney and Sabrina, I was kind of there, but I was more there to learn.
It was 8 o'clock in the morning and you were there.
This guy brought me in coffee. It was so sweet, but because it was early here, because we're in California. But there's a lot to think about for step studies, and I think just for me personally as a ministry leader, I'm excited. Our team is excited. We have a step study team actually that helps us with our step studies. There are leaders that love step study, and they work with our T coaches. And I think that we're all like, okay, what is this going to look like? Because I know with our CRCR groups, when that first started at the beginning of the pandemic, here's what I kept saying. I feel like I'm building an airplane in the air, and then I find out that it's actually a boat. That's what it felt like while it was happening. And then now I'm like, wow, look at this amazing thing that has ministered to so many people, that we have been able to onboard so many newcomers and so many people who have come back who may have left the ministry in the past. And so it has been amazing to see what God has done in our CRCR groups just for us locally. And I know so many nationally, it has been a godsend, really and truly. So with step studies, I'm feeling the same way. I'm feeling, once I catch my breath, I'm
Right.
like, okay, this is going to be exciting. And I have my inbox is full of emails of people who are like, hey, I heard you guys were going to do online step studies. Can I join one? And I'm thinking, right on. And many of them have never done step study before. How cool is that?
Right.
So, but talk to me a little bit about how you feel about that. You had just started a step study where we have launched step studies, and about 60% had never done a step study before of
Right.
all the groups that we launched. And you're also the T coach. So what does that look like?
We are
One of the T coaches.
We are having one of the T coaches, the lesser T coach, let's say. We are having it's a
know
little
why he
shout out
does
to
that.
Heather.
Oh, Heather.
We are going to do a meeting tomorrow with our P8 team, who's kind of in charge of step study. And I'm assuming we will kind of do a mock sort of step study. How does it look? What will happen? Me being, I like to call it an engineer, but my wife likes to call it negative. So I'm a worst case scenario person, and I think
that is 100%
I think the
true.
world needs engineers and doomsday people as
and
well.
optimists.
And totally needs
by the
optimists
way.
too. So I will be excited to pose all of the different scenarios and questions.
He's
that
very
I
excited
face.
to pose all
I know,
the
right?
scenarios.
I'm excited to be a rabble rouser, which is sort of my MO anyway. So, but I think as a step study leader, we were on step 3, principle 3, and I think I've talked to all of my participants, well, most of my participants, and the answer I get from pretty much everybody is, it's been a long time, and it would be okay if we started all over. Now, that being said, if we were in the middle of our 4-step or toward somewhere beyond that,
Right.
and I posed the question, hey, what do you think about starting over? I think most people would be completely depressed, and I don't want to pose the question or put out there like, hey, you need to start again. It's up to you and your group.
That's one of the things I love about Celebrate Recovery is that it is a national ministry, and we have guidelines, we have a DNA, we have a specific structure to help promote safety, and but it's the ministry leader can make those decisions, can make what's best, because some people are actually meeting. They can meet on campus. They're
Right,
having
if your
large
church is
group
open and
meetings.
you're allowed to meet.
They're having step studies, but this does help in the pandemic, even for those Celebrate Recoveries, because you can, for the people who aren't comfortable going outside, who are in the high risk category. I'm immunocompromised. I would be considered high risk, and if I needed to make the choice to stay home and shelter in place and not go out at all, I still can access recovery. And I think that's important, and it's beautiful, and it's exciting.
Right. Yeah, and you could participate in a step study.
Yep.
So that was a big announcement on Friday, and we're excited to begin to play that out. Is it okay as a ministry leader to take a pause and kind of wait to see what that looks like, or to at least have the conversation before jumping right into things? I think I know the answer to this already.
You see that softball he's lodging me. So here's what I believe, and I'm speaking as a ministry leader, as a local ministry leader at Saddleback, at the model, and that is that we have gotten permission. That doesn't mean that I have to react and start step studies on Monday. It means I can start thinking and praying about with the team, because there's nothing that I do on my own at our Celebrate Recovery. First and foremost, we seek God's leading, and I talk to Pastor Johnny, I talk to Pastor Danny, I talk to Pastor John, and so you can decide as a ministry leader what's going to be best and what's going to be necessary for your Celebrate Recovery. And that's what I love about it, is
Right.
the freedom along with the guidelines and the boundaries. I think we all need that in recovery.
Right, and if you need help and you have questions, reach out to your state rep, because
State
they are
reps.
super invaluable in that
I loved
situation.
being a state rep. I actually
And let's
miss
face it,
being
when
a
we
state
started
rep.
CR, you loved having a state rep because
Oh my goodness. I
you
called my
peppered her with
state rep
questions.
for everything, and I'm telling you, if Kathy's on there, she will know that if I were in the middle of a pandemic and she was still my state rep, I think she'd be like, that's enough, Meaghan, stop calling me. Because I definitely like to get her.
If she didn't retire already, she would
have blocked my number. No, she wouldn't have done that. So step studies, that's very, very exciting. And again, this is all different. We're responding to the pandemic. We don't need to react to it, right? That's what recovery teaches us. We can respond to it and we can make necessary adjustments, and that's what we're doing as a program. But it doesn't mean that it's reactionary. It means like, hey, life as we know it is not what it's been. So I'm excited for step study. That was fun on Friday night.
It was exciting to hear about, and I'm fired up to get back. I've been having open share and meeting with the guys from my step study. We're not doing step study by Zoom, but we meet as an open share group, so we still try to stay in contact with one another.
But wait, there was more. Do you guys remember the Ginsu knife commercial where it was like you would get a knife, but really you ended up with like 92 knives on a guy? We're old.
There is more.
We're old. There is more. And this was so fun last night.
It was.
This was really fun last night, and we're going to tell you what it was, but just we know how to put Facebook on our big TV, and when I say we, I mean this guy. And so as a family, we ordered dinner in, and what do?
And we watched the first of all the CR lessons, Denial, and Johnny Baker on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. will start teaching
He did
CR lessons. And so Denial was the first one. And I don't care how many times I hear Denial. I'm still in denial about something somewhere, and especially right now. I'm in denial that I'm locked at home all the time. But it was awesome.
Yeah.
And already we're starting to hear local CRs who are saying, tune in on Friday night. Johnny Baker will be giving the denial lesson, which is very cool.
Yes, we heard that from our old CR. They announced it at their church this morning. And that's, I think, here's the thing, is that there are 3 parts of Celebrate Recovery for a purpose. And the teaching part and the testimony part, many of us have been doing testimonies online on Facebook, because you can, as long as that person is okay with their anonymity. There's no copyright there. But our daughter actually gave her mini-moni. One of our ministry leaders from one of our campuses gave his mini-moni. And so that's a huge part. We want to hear experience, strength, and hope. And it's important to know what recovery looks like, and to know not just what it looks like lived out in someone else's life, but what does denial really mean, and what does it do, and does it disable my feelings and all of that kind of stuff. And so to have Johnny teach that. Now, Johnny taught at our old CR for a year. He didn't know it, but
via video.
He was our pastor for a year before he even knew us. And I think it's important. That's an important component to our recovery. And many of us have been missing that.
Yeah.
And think of all the newcomers too. I mean, I just look at our stats at Saddleback and how many new people are coming in, and they don't have a large group experience. And now what we can do is point them to those lessons, and they can really get into the principles and the 12 steps and their biblical counterparts. And so it's very exciting. And of course, many are like, I don't know about you, but my kids, it's like I give them one thing and they want something else. And I'm the same way. It's like, oh, but can I have this too? And I kind of feel that I can be that way right now with CR. I can be, I wouldn't say greedy, but it's like, hey, I can do this, but hey, can I do this? But what about this? And, I would love for us to all be able to teach our lessons online, but we can't. There's a copyright. Our publisher has been so gracious to let Johnny teach those, and he's the person. So there is a lesson out there. That's all that matters to me.
Right. If you want to know about denial, it's there.
I just want to hear. I want to hear it. I want to participate with it. And so I think that component to now we've had our open share experiences. We can have a large group experience. They did the 8 principles last night. They did the Serenity Prayer. And I like that it's on Saturday, because there's not a lot of CRs that are meeting on Saturday. on Saturday nights. That's not a big meeting night usually for Celebrate Recovery,
Right.
because remember, we're here to support the local ministry. We are not here to hijack the local ministry. We want to support your ministry. We want you to find your home Celebrate Recovery, or you to invest in your home Celebrate Recovery, because recovery, as great as it is to have technology, it's a lot of face-to-face living life together. So but for now, that's what we have. We have our lessons.
We do, and they're great.
They are.
They're great, and we're excited to have them.
What did you say about the lesson last night? You texted Johnny after it was done. Do you remember what you wrote?
I just texted Johnny and just told him it was great to have him teach, to hear a lesson that was what I'm used to hearing from Celebrate Recovery every other week, and it was neat to have, I don't want to say normalcy because I'm overusing that word, but to get back to what we had,
Yeah. And also that you were hungry for it.
I was totally hungry
I mean,
for it.
I was ready for a lesson. It felt good to my soul to have it. So we're grateful to the national team for making that choice and making that decision, and I'm excited about that. What else we got? Because we're talking about all the things, remember?
All the things,
all
and the
things.
resources and the stuff that is available to all of us. And of course, the CR Summit is available to all of us online. It is July 30th and 31st, and it's $49.
Yeah.
And just want to remind you guys that there is buy 5, get the 6th one free, but that ends on the 17th.
So we're like, oh, something really great is happening on the 17th. So what's happening? So the 17th is something, and we got excited about it. And then we're like, oh yeah, the buy 5, get the 6 free, but it's also our oldest's birthday. So he turns 22. So that should actually be what's leading our conversations about the 17th, but we're very
Not that you
summit
have to worry
focused.
about that, or that's anything for you to be.
We're very summit focused. But here's what we want to do to tell you about this summit, because we've had personal experiences at the summit. We are looking forward to having personal experiences this year. It's not something that any of us have experienced before.
Right, this is going to be completely
new. It's going
new.
to be completely new. And instead of, again, you guys know, I'm challenged by change, but once I get past that, I get excited about new things. And I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, gosh, what's that going to look like? Can we all, as a family, buying every one of us a ticket, be on the couch and watch the sun? I don't think our kids are going to hang all day, but that's kind of cool. And I know some churches are watching it together, and their CR teams are watching it together. I think our Celebration Place team at Saddleback, they're going to watch it socially distant. I think someone has a TV outside or something, and I think there's a lot of ways for us to experience this.
Right.
But tell me a little bit about what your thoughts about the summit are.
I learn something, well, not something, I learn a ton every summit. Mm-hmm. And I am the kind of person that at some point I've learned so much that I just have to not stop learning, but I have to, my brain, I don't know, it kind of shuts off a little bit when it's overstimulated and there's too much information, and and I'm old, come on now. And once I realized that, I may have the opportunity to pause and start back up, or to take a break and at my leisure, I was like, that's fantastic. I'll be able to absorb as much as I can, and then come back and absorb more. So I'm planning on, those 2 days, we're going to be up all night.
I'm not going to be up all night. Just
be ready. That's my plan.
No.
Yeah.
But I think, there's Sabrina is talking about, I think it's called What's Eating You, and it's talking about those of us that struggle with food issues, and that's a very common struggle. I have it. I know a lot of people in our CR identify with that. And I admire Sabrina. She is such a wise woman, and I'm looking forward to watching that and seeing what she has to say, because I'm not just thinking about my leaders, and I'm not just thinking about my Celebrate Recovery. I'm thinking about me. Right. I'm thinking about what I need to hear, and I'm looking forward to that.
And I'm excited. This next coming week, I'm going to go through all of the talks and sort of strategically think, who can I send some information about this particular talk to? Is there somebody in my life that needs to hear, or that I would like to hear, or that would be interested in this, and kind of help them with a resource if they want it. If they don't want it, great, but it's all there, you know what I mean? And if they show interest, I'll help them get a ticket if I have to, or
well, we can buy $5 and get 6 free, and
right?
then
And I'll
just
have one to give
send
away.
them out to people. Because I do think and there's going to be worship, and I love it. I miss seeing Pastor John. So he's speaking, and Johnny and Jenny and Cheryl's talking about transforming your mind. I don't know about you, but my mind has not been the best neighborhood lately. It has really. I think we're honest every time we're on here. We're struggling with a lot that has to do with the pandemic. The other day I was battling some really old stuff, not old behavior, but definitely old patterns of thinking. And I thought to myself, I think I need to do a mini 4-step and get some of this. I have to tussle some of this out, because it's hard. It can be really hard, and I don't have to do it alone. That was the coolest thing about Friday night too. Is I was talking to a group of our leaders, not a big group because we have to stand so far away, but they said, "How are you doing?" And on the denial lesson, Johnny's like, at CR, I always get taken aback because you ask how someone is doing, and they say, "Fine." You're so used to people saying "fine," and they'll say, "No, I'm having a hard time." And that was exactly what happened on Friday night. 2 of our leaders were like, "How you doing, Meaghan?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm having a hard time." And they were so sweet. They're like, "Well, tell me about that. What does that mean?" And it was so good to connect. And I think that's one of the things that I love about this program. And we can do it via text. We can do it on Zoom. We can do it all those ways. But to stay connected and honest and authentic. I know we all have to wear masks now, but we don't have to wear emotional masks and relational masks. And I was thinking, before we started, we're in our kitchen, and we live in a weird little apartment building. It's not a big apartment building, and our trash bins are super far away, which wasn't a big thing, but for whatever reason, we've decided in the pandemic, it's not our favorite thing to take out the trash. So
are you telling
I am. So we have
all of these viewers
a wagon
about our trash
wagon, and we just put the trash in the wagon, and then we take the wagon out. And I was thinking about that. I was like, look, you're looking at us, and you can't see our trash wagon unless we took off the phone and showed you. Now, we had the boys take it out before we started. You couldn't see it, but for me, just
because we didn't want anyone to know
we
about
didn't
our
want
trash
anyone
wagon,
to know about
but
our
everybody
trash
knows
wagon.
now.
But I think that's the cool thing about Celebrate Recovery, is that I don't have to hide that stuff.
Right.
I don't have to tell everybody, but I need to tell somebody. And I think that's what I'm excited about for step studies. That's what I'm excited about to learn with the online lessons with Johnny Saturday at 6.
Right.
And to continue with our CR groups or our open shares. So.
And there is one component of Celebrate Recovery that we want to encourage you guys to reach out and find some place and some way to serve. I know it's tough. I was in Open Share, and after Open Share on Friday night, one of the participants asked me, is there some place I can get involved in serving other people?
Because we can't stack chairs because they're not, they get cleaned before we get put away and stuff like that.
And everything has a protocol now, and it's a little bit different than it used to be, and there's no food to get set up, and there's no coffee to put up and take down. So a lot of serving opportunities have disappeared from this Friday night. And I didn't have a lot to be able to tell him, but I did tell him, if you go to our website for the church, we do food pantries and these pop-up food banks, sorry, and people are always getting involved in those, and that's a way that we can kick in and serve. But also, if you have a small group, ask your small group, hey, is there anybody that needs groceries? Is there, how can I serve you guys, or do you know anybody that needs to be served? I want to encourage you guys to look around and see if you can't find some way to serve.
And Saddleback has this great program. It's care callers, because not everybody can go out, right? So we can't go work at the food bank. We can't go work at the food pantry. But they have care callers, and I know a lot of our participants and leaders in our Celebrate Recovery are calling people and checking on them and working their recovery in that way. I love, what does that say? Bentley says we
Bentley.
all have some type of trash wagon. Thank you for being with us.
But ours is real, Bentley.
Yes. It's totally trying
Not
to be
just
with us.
emotional.
Yeah, but it's, that whole getting out of myself and being of service to other people is a huge part of our recovery. And I know that 2 weeks ago, I was like, dude, we gotta go. Where's my husband? We had done open share. We had picked our kid up from the landing, and I was like, what is going on? Well, he was talking to a guy with less than 30 days in the parking lot, and that takes precedent over me going home and having dinner. He was being of service. He was talking to someone, and or actually, you're probably listening more than you were talking. Those are the things that we can do. So that's what we have to say about that. Those are all the things. It's so, dude, see the numbers just keep going down. Sorry, we just wanted to have a chat, really. We wanted to share some thoughts. Hopefully you guys shared some thoughts and some prayer requests in the comments. And I see a lot of people connecting in the comments on these Facebook Lives, and that is so wonderful. And we want to encourage you. In this time, connection any way we can get it is great, but also we want you to be connecting with your local Celebrate Recoveries. And if you're new to us, we want to welcome you and point you to celebraterecovery.com to find a group near you. And for the summits, it's crsummits.com. I'm super excited about the summits. I am very excited about it. So we want to encourage you to join us and to pray that others join us and that we can have a radical movement and revival of freedom for God's people.
Exactly.
So,
through Jesus Christ.
In and through Jesus Christ.
So we're going to wrap up.
Is it 6:30? I feel like, okay.
It is.
Okay, so as encourager coaches, we wanted to just leave you with some encouragement. Celebrate Recovery is founded on God's Word, of course. Jesus is our one and only higher power. So I wanted to read to you from 2 Thessalonians 2:16 through 17, and it says this: May our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who loved us and by his grace gave us eternal encouragement and good hope, encourage your hearts and strengthen you in every good deed and word. And that's our prayer for you. We're going to be praying this verse over you and for you this week, Ken and I. He'll be on his phone and look like he's actually on social media. I'll be writing them out old school because apparently that's how I do things. But we hope you join us tomorrow night at 6 for Facebook Live again. Check out Johnny's denial lesson. It's on the Celebrate Recovery National page if you haven't seen it. And we just hope that you have an awesome night and a good week and know that you are not alone.
And may God bless you and keep you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.